Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Level 1 Podcast. I'm Darkside Phil, and I welcome you here to my final consecutive streaming day of the week. I welcome you here to a fun podcast to get the day started. Fun day, for sure, for what we got on the schedule. I don't know what's going on, but my allergies are bad today. I haven't taken an allergy medication in almost a month, thinking I wasn't going to need them anymore. And I wake up today, first of all, my wife had to go to work in the morning. And so she got up before me. And so that means when she's getting up early, that means that Jasper Kitty is running around my house. And so it's kind of hard to get a full night's sleep when, a couple hours on the earlier side, I got everyone running around doing activity in my home. And then I wake up finally, and then I'm like, damn, my post-nasal drip is going, my sinuses are inflamed, my throat is gunked up. What is going on here? This is like, spring again. I don't know. It's weird. Several things cause allergies to happen. It's not just like pollen from outside, so it could have been other things too. I don't know. Anyway, welcome to the pre-stream podcast. Oops. I meant the Level 1 Podcast. That's right. We rebranded it this week. Some people have embraced it. Other people are dicks. But I like the new name. Today is Tuesday, the 5th of July, 2022. For those of you in the United States, welcome to the show. And hopefully you had a great Independence Day yesterday, no matter how you celebrated it. For those of you who celebrated it with me, thanks. Yesterday was a pretty darn good day, stream-wise. I had a lot of fun on stream with all of you with the Capcom Fighting Collection, doing some random fighting games for several hours, and then finishing up Sonic Origins on the live stream, plus some random Q&A. Went really well. I had a good time, actually. I certainly hope that you guys had a good time with me as well. All right? Good overall day, for sure. So, had a little bit of technical difficulties. I don't know what happened yesterday. As usual, I'm just uploading my stuff, and everything seems to be normal. And one of the videos won't upload. And I don't know why it won't upload. Well, usually when that happens, it means the video's corrupted. So yesterday, all I did was a usual podcast and 2 big videos of fighting game gameplay. Each video was around an hour and a half long. And one of the videos won't go live. It won't upload at all. Won't play. I'm trying to think like what would cause a video to do this, because this is probably in the last 2 months the 3rd video that did this to me. And I think it might be that my computer's getting so old that the hard drive is just messed up. The good news is my operating system is on a different hard drive than where I store my video. Problem is that hard drive that I store my videos on, needs to work. And I get the feeling that's what it is. There might be a sector that's bad on that hard drive or something. The weird thing is I have it set up to automatically, service that hard drive. It automatically scans and partitions and does all that behind the scenes. It's not like this is a hard drive that's been sitting there forever and I'm just letting it fragment or anything like that. It defrags itself. So I don't know what's causing it. It's frustrating because there doesn't seem to be any pattern to it. It's not like, oh, I was doing a certain kind of game or there was a certain kind of situation, something happened, my mic malfunctioned or something. Another thing, it just, every once in a while, a video is corrupted. And this never used to happen. This year is the first year this has become something ongoing. So, luckily for me, it was just some fighting game stuff. It wasn't a major deal. It would have been a bigger deal if I'm doing an ongoing narrative playthrough. Like, for example, today we're playing Final Fantasy VII. Imagine if one of those earlier hours of the game is just missing from the playthrough. Now, the other thing is, there used to be a way to basically edit down an archive stream to a smaller portion and have that become an on-demand video on YouTube you could watch. The reason I say used to is because there's now 2 times I've attempted to do this. The last 2 times the video corrupted, and it doesn't seem to work anymore. It looks like YouTube has, once again, taken something that was an ongoing thing that worked and ruined it, and it doesn't work anymore. Like, for example, playlists. When I play music now, on my streams. Half the time it malfunctions because they screwed up their playlists in the last couple of months, and now they don't work really anymore. Same thing here, where you used to be able to say, I have a 5-hour stream. Okay, I just want that 1 hour of footage because my video corrupted. And you try to edit it down, and it just sits there and says, okay, processing. It never ends. It just sits there processing forever and literally never fucking finishes. This is the second time this happened. Like I said, this happened a couple weeks ago. It was actually when I was starting up my Castlevania Anniversary Collection playthrough like 2 weeks ago. And I did a big podcast that morning about my history with the Castlevania games and what I thought about them and everything. And people liked the podcast and then go to watch it on demand. It's not there because it corrupted. It wouldn't upload. So I tried to edit it. That stream never edited. So it's sitting there like 5 hours. If you want to watch the podcast, you can watch the whole stream, but that's about it. So dumb. So anyway, it's annoying as hell that this is happening. I don't know what's causing it. I wish I did, and I wish I had a solution, but when you don't have any idea what the problem is causing it, then you can't fix it, right? As I've told you guys many times, what I would hope is that maybe by the end of this year, I can upgrade my equipment. I mean, that's wishful thinking. Originally, I wanted to do it earlier this year. Then I wanted to do it during the summer, and it's just not viable. You know, right now, there's no one who can really donate that much. You know, at one point last year, there were people who were like, oh, I can donate this and this. And now because of inflation, things have changed. You know, there was a couple people behind the scenes who said, oh, I'd be willing to step up and help you get a new PC. And now this year, people are like, nah, we can't, you know, because inflation screwed everything up. And now we just don't have that disposable income we used to have. I have one person who offered to donate some parts, but it's not enough for a whole PC. I wouldn't know how to build my own PC off of half parts. You know, I haven't done that. I have not built a PC since the early 2000s. I think a 20-year time period gap there is a lot to try to build together a PC for myself. You know what I'm saying? So then it's like, well, then what else can I do? Well, realistically, I could do fundraiser where I do like a couple maybe special events or marathons or whatever with a goal in mind. And if I raise the goals, then I have enough to buy myself a pre-built PC, right? Problem with that is, right now, literally, I'm living paycheck to paycheck right now. You know, every week, I'm trying to raise enough to pay my bills and keep going. Right now, this week, you know, I raised a good amount, and that's all in anticipation of next week when I have around $900 in bills coming due next weekend. So I have to have $900 in addition to funds for my normal things around here, like going grocery shopping tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So now let's say, for example, I do some fundraising events, right? Okay, let's do a special event. I don't know. We'll do a marathon of this. We'll do this. Great. Fundraising. And people contribute. And I raise a good amount. But guess what? Then they can't contribute on regular streams, right? And this is the problem is, because of inflation, everyone's tightened their belts in the last year. Everyone, including, you know, myself. My wife and I canceled everything around us that we could cancel, basically, to save money. And, you know, when you're cutting down on that, you just don't have anything extra left, right? And I understand, because everyone's in the same boat right now. You know, you take a look and you notice, you know, just being honest, yes, contributions on my streams have kind of slowed down a bit in the last month or two. I've definitely noticed this, that, you know, when I was playing games a few months ago, it was a lot more contributions in general just on streams. And then in the last couple of months, they've gotten tighter and slowed down. And that's okay. I'm not complaining. I totally get it, you know. But everyone's under the same stress. So I know what's going to happen. If I do fundraising events, I guarantee you people would actually be generous. They would come and try to support my ability to upgrade my setup. But then what would happen is, for 2 months, I'd be shooting myself in the foot, because then people would be like, well, I gave everything for, you know, this special fundraiser you did. Now I can't afford to support your regular streams. And then I would go out of business. So I can't do that right now. Basically, what I got to do is just stay the course, try, you know, keep using the equipment I'm using, tough it out until a time when hopefully things loosen up and get a little better, you know. Like I said, hopefully by the end of this year, I'll be able to do a few different things, a few ideas. A lot of people have actually asked me over the course of this year if and when I'll bring back any kind of merchandise. So maybe, around the fall time, when you're thinking about the time of the year when it's gift giving season and things like that, maybe I'll start looking into some of these other businesses that do merchandise and see if maybe we could design some new stuff to get some shirts or whatever out there, whatever you guys are interested in. Obviously we'll talk about that in the future. What kind of merch would you like to see? Shirts again, or do you want to see something different? Because, I did shirts for a very long time there. Maybe there's something different that people are interested in. I have no clue. Okay? So, I'm just throwing that out there. We'll see what happens by the end of the year. But I know it sucks because we start having technical difficulties. I wish it was as easy as it used to be. Because it used to be, something's breaking. Well, I could just go ahead and put it on a credit card. Boom. And I have a new PC here right away. And I pay it off slowly. I don't have credit anymore. I don't have that flexibility. Like I said, I'm living paycheck to paycheck as it is. So I just don't have that kind of power anymore to do that kind of stuff. I got to make do with what I got. So it is what it is, guys. No sadness or negativity here. I'm happy with what I've got and what we're doing. But that's why when I run into technical difficulties and things, I just, people, I don't understand. He's a full-time YouTuber. He's a streamer and he makes all this money. Why can't he just drop money and buy a new PC right now? Because there's no flexibility. There's no leeway here. It's like what I'm bringing in is immediately going to bills and or all the things I need to do, operating costs, cost of living here. And the inflation has really hurt it in the last, year in particular. And there's not much that can really, do much about it, It's life. Okay? Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's stop talking about bullshit. And let's start talking about a fun streaming day that we're going to have here today and the week coming up. I got an announcement here this morning about the upcoming marathon that we're about to do on Saturday and so on and so forth. Okay? So today, I'm excited because today we're doing my second ever session of Final Fantasy VII. Admittedly, when I made the choice to play Final Fantasy VII the other day, all right, and start up this playthrough, I didn't know how it was going to be received. I had always wanted to play Final Fantasy VII over the years. I had several times in my 14-year history as a content creator talked about playing it, whether it was for a special project like my original idea for Project 7 over a decade ago, whether it was bringing it back in some capacity, or when the Final Fantasy VII Remake was going to come out, I was talking about playing it beforehand. All these different discussions came up, and it just never happened. For one reason or another, other games got selected, and or other projects popped up or other things took priority. Finally, we have a summer with literally nothing going on. We've got 2 new releases in the entire month of July that I'm interested in, right? And we've got a ton of downtime. So I'm like, this would definitely be an exciting time to do something like this, So I started playing it a couple days ago, and I was shocked. People not only showed up, but they engaged, they supported. We had a great conversation, talk about the game in general. It was a really great stream. It actually surprised me how many people were excited for Final Fantasy VII. I didn't realize that people would be that excited for Final Fantasy VII. I honestly thought it was just going to be another RPG, but people seemed pumped. I had a great time with it. We're actually playing the PS4 version, which is the version that's a port of the PC version, which means the graphics are already upscaled. So it definitely looks a lot better than the plain PS1 version that's very pixelated at this point. It was a good time in general. And I said to you guys, wow, I was blown away by the positive reception of me playing this game the other day. And I said, if people like it this much, and if people continue to show up, engage, and support the Final Fantasy VII streams, I would have absolutely no reason to not keep it as a daytime stream. Because originally I was concerned, I was thinking in my head, what we should do is maybe do 1 or 2 daytime streams of Final Fantasy VII, and then eventually phase it into a night stream as an ongoing RPG. That was my idea, and I was like, do different things during the daytimes. But it did really well, the other day. So let's see what happens today. I'll be honest. Right now I'm taking a look, and we don't have as many people on the level 1 podcast today as we did 2 days ago. I mean, then again, it's just the podcast if we're not in the game yet. Maybe that'll change as we get closer to another hour when I start playing the game or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. But like I said, it's all about people showing up, watching, engaging, supporting. And if we keep all that going, I would love to do this every single day on a daytime stream. Not every single day, but you know what I'm saying. Like, keep it as a daytime stream. The game is very lengthy. Just to beat the main story of Final Fantasy VII can take 30 to 40 hours. Then if you do side content, this game could be like upwards of 70, 80 hours long, depending on if you grind on the stuff or not. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, definitely there's potential for it to be a lengthy playthrough over the course of the next month to 2 months. It could be the summertime playthrough. And so I'm excited to see if, it'll continue at the level that it was the other day. Because I had such a good time. I was shockingly surprised at how much fun I had with it, and how much fun you guys had with it. Okay. Now, what we're doing here is we're going through the introductory hours of the game. We just arrived at the slums, and if I remember correctly, in the original Final Fantasy VII, the slums take a little while because there's a lot of little questing you have to do in there. It's very similar to the slums questing from the remake, except the remake really extrapolates upon it, adds a ton of shit to it, and basically makes it incredibly lengthy because there's like a ton of side quests and things. I remember the gym doesn't exist in this as any kind of a side quest thing. Like, you just go through, you talk to a few people, there's a few things to do, and then you end up doing some of the ridiculously stupid Japanese humor quest lines, which we're going to see. These are some of the cringeworthy moments coming up that in my original idea for Project 7, I was actually going to emphasize how cringeworthy these moments are in the game, and that those moments didn't really exist in the original Final Fantasy 4 or 6 that I had played, and it was some of the things I was going to call the game out for, saying it looks like they really tried hard to try to be outside the box funny, when in reality it's just a lot of cringe, So, we're going to probably do those today, those moments. I'm thinking today, as long as we stay on pace and we don't get stuck on anything, we'll probably get all the way up to the Shinra Tower. All right? Shinra Tower is, at least from what I can remember, the first point in the game where I get annoyed. I mean, yes, the cringeworthy stuff in the slums is like, nah, it's kind of silly. But the Shinra Tower is like confusing. It makes you go in circles to try to figure it out. It's the part of the game that always annoys me, because I end up spending way more time there than I want to. At the same time, there's some really cool plot developments at Shinra Tower. But let's see how it goes today. Let's see if we can get there and how far we get. I'm not sure. But again, I'm definitely excited for today, and I hope that today stays on the same level as 2 days ago when it was the premiere stream. I had so much fun. If we can keep it at that level, I'd be pumped. In addition to that, like I said 2 days ago, I know for a fact that once we leave Midgard and we start getting to the open world and we explore, the game gets way better, and that's really where the game shines, in my opinion, and that's where Final Fantasy VII Remake ends. So, literally, you play the intro segment of Final Fantasy VII, and then the remake just falls off the cliff because it goes in a different direction. So here, we'll definitely be able to see, how the game differs. And I'm excited for that. But we're not getting that today. There's no way we're getting to that today. Today we're probably doing mostly the rest of the introduction up to the point where we get to Shinra Tower. I don't know if we'll beat Shinra Tower today. I get the feeling we may get to it and kind of be stuck in it. And the next time we get out of there and we head on to the open world. I'm thinking. I could be wrong. I'm trying to remember exactly how the game works and what's in between here. But we'll see as we play today. Okay? So, Final Fantasy VII today. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. All right? Then on the late stream tonight, it's the continuation of Zelda II, The Adventure of Link, the game that you guys voted for as the viewer's choice playthrough by 0.04% of a winning margin. It's the closest poll I have ever run. Seriously, like, I've never had a poll that close before. So it was between Zelda 2 and Fable Anniversary Edition. And I told you guys it was such a close result that we're going to play Fable anyway, which we are. I already downloaded Fable onto my Xbox, and I'm ready to go. Okay? So tonight, Zelda 2 at 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. I hope, if you know about this game, you'll show up and you'll help me because, man, it's one of the most cryptic NES games I've played. It's just as cryptic as Simon's Quest. So without help, there's no way I can beat this game. It's funny because people are leaving comments on the videos now. They're like, yeah, this is infamously one of those original NES games where you could tell Nintendo was trying to sell Nintendo Power Magazine or strategy guides because the game just doesn't tell you how to do anything. So if you don't know where to go or what to do, you can never beat it. You'll just be stuck not knowing what the hell's going on. There you go. Anyway, so that's tonight. I'm sure there's going to be rage and fails. At the very same time, it's a game that I'm happy that I'm finally experiencing it. I hope that you guys will join me for that on the late stream, okay? Now, tomorrow I'm off from streaming. I hope you all have a good day tomorrow. Fun day. You relax. Perhaps you get caught up with all the content from this last week. And if you do, thank you for watching. Please remember that doing things like leaving comments on my videos and liking the videos on YouTube helps for engagement. It will bring more people to the channel in general. My videos will show up in search results or related results. So please do so if you're enjoying the content, okay? When I return on Thursday, it is the return of my Q&A show, Ask the King. Haven't done this in a couple of months. I'm happy to be bringing it back. How do you get your question answered on the show? You need to post up your question on my forums on DSPGaming.com. Please do so if you haven't. How do you do that? Well, if you type !Ask the King into the stream chat during this live stream, a link will pop up you can click on. If maybe you're watching this on demand after the fact, just go to DSPGaming.com, the general forum section, the Ask the King thread, and boom, you'll find the thread for Thursday's show. The more questions I get, the better the show is. And for full transparency here, I answer most of my questions off the forums. Yes, I do accept questions from other means. For example, people who pledge to my Patreon or Patreon, $20 or more a month get their question answered for sure. Yes, I do accept Twitter questions the day of, but almost no real Twitter questions make it in. It's usually the vast majority of questions coming off of my forums, okay? So, please post up questions if you have not yet. All right, thank you in advance to anyone who does. Again, the more questions I get, the better the show is. And I'm looking forward to this. Now, that means that Thursday's stream will start later than usual. Usually, my stream turns on around 10:45 a.m. Pacific time. On Thursday, it's going to be later. It's going to be around 12:30 p.m. Pacific time to accommodate for me going through questions, picking the best ones, setting up the format. There's actually some shout-outs and special things I need to do for Ask the King, so I need a little bit of extra time to work on that. So, please consider. Also, if you are a channel member, you get your question advanced priority to be answered on Ask the King. I actually put up a thread for this on the main page of DSP Gaming under the community tab about a week ago, originally. And I haven't really brought it up since then. And I apologize because, you know, I forgot to emphasize it. If you're a channel member, maybe you just became a channel member recently, there is a post, a members-only post, okay? Here it is. It was 10 days ago, actually, when I posted it up. So far, 29 members have posted up questions, which I will be reviewing and drawing from for Ask the King this Thursday. So if you are a member and you didn't realize this, do it right now. Head to the main channel page of DSP Gaming. Go to the membership tab. There's an exclusive membership tab there for members. And you'll see the post right there highlighted. And please post up your questions. Again, the more questions I get, the show's better. Okay? All right. Then on Thursday night, we're going to be finishing up my Castlevania Anniversary Collection playthrough. That's Super Castlevania 4, which we are about more than halfway through, I would say. We're actually in Dracula's Castle now. So we're likely going to beat it Thursday night. Okay? And I hope that you guys will join me for that. It should be a fun time and a good way to end the playthrough. You know, it's a playthrough I've been doing for a couple of weeks. I really enjoy going through the classic Castlevanias. And I'm looking forward to the finale. Okay? Then on Friday, more Final Fantasy VII on the main stream. Okay? And then on the late stream on Friday, it's Capcom Fighting Collection for Friday Night Fights. Alright? So this is all leading up to Saturday. And the big reveal is about to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? This Saturday is a marathon special event. Alright, if you're not aware. By the way, if you guys could stop talking bullshit in the chat, I'd appreciate it. Every time I look at the chat, it's idiots talking, why does he need to ask the king? oh, now it sounds like you're arguing with Phil. He's going to ban you. Shut up. Just shut up. You're fucking obnoxious, really. Trying to do a podcast and I look down and everything in the chat is stupid. Just shut up if you're going to talk nonsense, okay? Okay, so this coming Saturday is a fun marathon event that you guys have been anticipating, okay? It's a result of hitting a members goal last month, which, by the way, we will talk about this month's members goal very soon. I have an update on that. We'll talk about it in a moment, okay? But this Saturday is my next React Marathon event. It's going to be a lot different from my previous React Marathon events because the last few that I did were all in relation to either documentaries or drama videos. First, it was the Wings of Redemption Down the Rabbit Hole. Then it was my Down the Rabbit Hole. And then it was me reacting to the John and Howard video. But thank God we took a break from drama. Like, really, what was that? About 3 weeks, a month ago? I don't exactly remember when the last one was, okay? But basically, I'm just happy that we're separating ourselves from that now and doing something completely different. Really, for a while, after doing that for like a month and a half, I got tired of it, And not to say that we won't go back to that shit, because I know people have been saying, are you going to do a documentary? Are you going to react to This Is How You Don't Play? I'm sure eventually we will. But for now, we're doing something completely different and outside the box and trying something different, all right? So, this coming Saturday, I will be reacting to content from a YouTube channel that does something a lot different than the stuff that I'm usually cover. This channel covers things such as true supernatural stories, or at least documented supernatural stories, crime documentaries, the history of like a murderer or something like that. Basically kind of like scary and or shocking content. This is a channel that's actually been around for a very long time. It's a long-running and popular channel. This channel has millions of subscribers on YouTube. It was suggested to me by a viewer, and I reached out to the owner of the channel, and they said, yeah, absolutely, you can react to the content. And in fact, they gave me some suggestions. So what I would like to do is actually go ahead and give you a little bit of a primer about this channel and actually what this person said, like some recommendations. Okay, so you ready? So, let me find it here. Wow, this guy does a lot of shit. Just listen to this. All right, so let me announce the channel and let me read what he said, because he's got so much content that he's done over the years that we're going to have like a ridiculous amount of shit to do, and we're probably going to be like just getting a taste of a little bit of all of it and then be like, man, can't wait to go back, because it seems like this is really interesting stuff. All right? So the name of the channel, because I know you guys have been waiting and I know you guys want to dive into the content and see what you want me to react to on Saturday, is Rob Gavagan, spelled Gavagan. He's got over 3 million subscribers. His videos get ridiculous amounts of views. So this guy is good at what he does. So here's what he basically says. He gave me a little bit of primer about his content, and I'm going to read it for you right now, because it sounds like this is his explanation of his content. Okay? So he says, as likely you're new to my content, let me explain a little bit in regards to how it's structured so you can get the most out of my content for when you make your own. First of all, he has a series that's called Seriously Strange. Okay? He says, Seriously Strange is its own series, but it has become the main series to a number of spin-offs on my channel. Seriously Strange covers anything from bizarre phenomena to unsolved criminal cases. Sometimes it's a short list format, but lately it's been a single case that gets covered per each episode. Then there's Twisted Tens, which is usually the most shocking content that I do. Top 10 countdowns of disturbing events. Twisted Tens is a popular one for reaction channels, so you'd probably get the most bang for your buck with that series. Okay. Then he has Serial Killer Files. This focuses on looking into the life of a particular serial killer. Anatomy of Murder is very similar, but it focuses more on different types of murder outside of serial killings, like maybe a single homicide, a mass murder, or a killing spree. Jeez. Grim stuff. Then he has a series also that's called Truth or Tale. He says this is one that may do well to react to as well because it's basically a series of 5 cases. Some are real, but some are actually fiction. And then you and your audience can basically think about it and try to determine which is real. And then it'll be revealed at the end of the episode which ones were real and which ones were fake. Very few episodes of the series are currently produced, and it's on hiatus. So I guess he tried it a few times and didn't really go too far into it, right? So there you go. He says, there's some other sub-series that I've done, but based on reaction channels I've seen that have had success reacting to my content, these are probably your best bet, with Twisted Tens probably being the top, but you probably know your audience best. So there you go. I basically have permission to react to any of that kind of content on his channel. I don't know what else is on there. I go there and all the stuff that's popular is that kind of stuff. I don't know if he has like other shit on there, you know. Maybe he has like personal vlogs or something. Why would I react to that, right? So this is very different. And I know now that I've mentioned it, all right, you guys are probably going to go over there and start looking at the stuff and maybe, you know, stir up some of the stuff and say, oh, you should do this one. This was a really good one, or this is a really good one. I'd like to get your feedback over the course of the week, all right? And then on Saturday, we'll do some of these, all right? Pick them out and go through them and see, you know. I mean, he's given some good suggestions of the different series. He seems to be of the impression that Twisted Tens is the one that most people react to and like as a react style content. So maybe we would actually, you know, start with one of those and see how it goes, and maybe we could do other stuff too. All right? So that's what we're doing on Saturday for the react portion of the stream. But that's not all that we're doing. Okay? Saturday we're going to have a level 1 podcast. During that podcast, we're going to order food for an episode of Feasting with the King. Now, you might say, well, Feasting with the King, what cuisine, what's going on with that, right? Well, let's talk, okay? There's going to be at least 2 options that we've already determined. Hello, Jasper Kitty. He just ran in here. You probably heard his jingling bell. One option is Szechuan Chinese. This is one that actually was very popular in the voting last time around. It didn't win, but I think got 2nd place. So I figured let's bring back Szechuan Chinese as an option and give it another chance. But in addition, there's a few other things, okay, that we're going to have there as options. Jasper is now licking my head. One of them, I'm pink now, and now I can't get my camera to go unpink. I was trying to get it to go unpink, and it didn't work. Hold on. It seriously won't. Oh! That's better. I'd rather look a little washed out than bright pink. So, okay. So, Szechuan Chinese is option number 1. Option number 2 will be American barbecue. All right, last time around, or a couple times ago, we actually tried Hawaiian barbecue. And that was actually surprisingly, shockingly good. If you remember, it didn't look good. I thought it kind of looked like bland. I started eating it, and it was insanely full of flavor. I couldn't believe how good the Hawaiian barbecue was, okay? So, American barbecue will be the option this time. What's included in American barbecue? Lots of different things. You know, different kinds of pork, beef, chicken, all kinds of stuff, and some traditional American sides, okay? Now, some other options. The 2 that I came up with. One would be gourmet burgers. And what I mean by that is there's some restaurants around here that actually do high-end burgers. I'm not talking fast food burgers. I'm not talking, you know, Five Guys or Habit Burger. I'm talking actual restaurant quality burger dishes that have unique things on the menu. And if that one ended up getting kind of voted in, what I would likely do is order like a couple of burgers to try with some sides and see how that goes. And then lastly, something that's kind of unique that I actually found, there's a place that does, okay, so obviously you think of a hot dog, you know what a hot dog is, right? But they do chicken variations of hot dogs. So like chicken tenders or other kinds of chicken on a giant hot dog bun with like condiments and things on top that make it taste, you know, like elevated. It just seems unique to me. I've never had anything like that before, and I was curious how it would turn out. So those are kind of the ideas I had. Some people had some other ideas that I sadly looked into, and they're not going to work. For example, someone said, what about Malaysian or Indonesian? I looked into that, and there is no Malaysian or Indonesian restaurants near here. The closest one is an hour away. I'm not going to order food from there and end up getting ice cold food. Some people said, what about like Jamaican food, jerk chicken, that kind of stuff? Sadly, again, there's only one restaurant in my area that really does it, and they're not necessarily authentic. They're known as a tropical chain restaurant. You know what I mean? Like a theme restaurant. And I've eaten there before, and I've had their jerk chicken, and it's good, but it's not like, oh, this is an authentic Jamaican restaurant. It's more like, this is like an Americanized chain, you know? Do you really want to be having like Olive Garden to represent Italian food? Of course you don't. So, do I really want to be ordering from an Americanized chain to represent Jamaican food? Probably not. Or it's probably wouldn't be Jamaican, it would be Caribbean food, right? So, probably not. Those are my ideas right now. Would be Szechuan Chinese, American barbecue, a gourmet burger of some type with maybe some sides, or these chicken dogs. All right? So, unless someone else comes up with something, which maybe you guys will, I don't know, I'm probably going to take some of, if not all of those, and make a poll when I come back from my break on Thursday. And you guys will begin to vote Thursday morning through Saturday on what cuisine I'll be trying for Feasting with the King. And then on Saturday, we will order together in the morning like I always do. Okay? So, here's how it's going to go. Level 1 podcast in the morning. Then we order the food. Then we start with some React content on the Rob Gavigan channel. All right? Likely we'll do some of these countdowns. Like you said, maybe the Twisted Tens or maybe one of these, you know, true crime horror, I say horror stories, true crime stories. Do some of that. And then at one point, after a few hours of that, we're going to go and do Feasting with the King of whatever had won the poll and we ordered. Okay? We'll probably do a little bit more React content. And then, to end the stream that day, we're going to end it just like we did when I did my Down the Rabbit Hole React. And what we're going to do is a fantasy match in WWE 2K22. All right, it's going to be an over-the-top rope 30-man fantasy battle royale. All right, and it will feature all kinds of characters, comic book, cartoon, pop culture celebrities, people from all walks of life, content creators on the internet will all be involved in this match. All right, I'm going to do my best to bring back some of the characters you guys really liked in the last one, but I'm going to bring in a lot of new characters as well. Okay, those matches take about 45 minutes to an hour to do because it takes I think it's like 90 seconds between each character coming into the match. So we'll see how it goes, but it went really well last time. You guys loved it. So I'd love to do another one of those to end the big event, okay? So it's a marathon event of a podcast reacting to this kind of supernatural or murder mystery, or not murder mystery, but murder documentary stuff, Feasting with the King, and a fantasy match. It's going to be a really special day, and it should be a good fun and a lot of variety with no real gameplay during the day, okay? But that's only the first half of the week for me, all right? Then we're going to resume with ongoing gameplay on Sunday. So likely on Sunday, the main stream will probably be another session of Final Fantasy VII. And then on the late stream, likely it'll be more Zelda II, okay? And then I still got Monday and Tuesday. Now, I think what we will do is we're going to go along with what you guys have asked for, and I'm probably going to begin my playthrough of Fable Anniversary Edition, okay? So, for variety purposes, it'll probably be pretty fun. We'll start up Fable Anniversary Edition maybe Monday. We could do it Sunday, too, if you guys really want, but I was thinking you probably want Final Fantasy more, and then maybe we do Fable on Monday. And then maybe do another session of Capcom Fighting Collection Monday night, and then probably Tuesday, either Fable or Final Fantasy paired with more Zelda 2, and that's the streaming week, you see? But by the way, that's only if 100% confirmed that Wednesday's my day off. As of now, I'm not 100% sure if it is. I think it is, but I have to check with my wife because it depends on her work schedule too. So we'll figure this out, but it looks like that's the week. So good variety this week because not only do we have the return of Asta King, we got a crazy fun marathon coming up on Saturday, and then we've got good gameplay for the second half of the week, you see? So there you go. Hope that sounds good and exciting to all of you. All right, now, keep in mind something. New releases are on the horizon, okay? The next slew of new releases hit on July 19th, and there's 2 of them. We've got Stray, the game where you control a cat in a futuristic landscape. Apparently all the humans are dead and robots rule the world, and it's your job to be like an investigative cat. I know that sounds weird, but basically you investigate crimes like you're a detective. On the very same day that game comes out is also a narrative-based game called As Dusk Falls. This is, if you can believe it, from the original team who made Heavy Rain over a decade ago. Okay? Narrative-based game where your choices matter. It even has some of the actors from Heavy Rain in it. Yes. I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah, the detective from Heavy Rain is actually in this game. So, I'm excited for those releases. But obviously, there's a ways to go. They come out on the 19th, 2 weeks from today. Okay? So, in that case, obviously, we need stuff to do. So, I'm glad that we already have the entire next week planned, and it sounds exciting. And then after that, you know, we'll play it by ear and see if we want to mix anything up or we just want to continue on with the games I'm doing. You know, we have so many different options. We could do Super Mario Brothers 2, which I told you guys I wanted to do. We could do another game off of PlayStation Plus Premium, because, by the way, I should mention this, because I forgot to mention this so far in the pre-stream today, or excuse me, on the podcast today. Today, I had to re-up my membership to PlayStation Plus Premium, which is weird, because last month, I told you guys when I got it and we explored it for the first time, I swear it had said that I had a membership through the 8th. But then this morning, I turned on my PS5, and it said I didn't have access to play Final Fantasy VII because my subscription had expired. And I was like, well, whatever, I guess. It's kind of weird. So I paid the $18 to get a month of PlayStation Plus Premium. So this includes not only me being able to play Final Fantasy VII, but also Stray is included for free if you have PlayStation Plus Premium. So why on earth would I not get it, right, and then pay full price for Stray when if I pay $18 for the month, I'm going to be able to play Final Fantasy VII and I get Stray when it comes out for free, right? That'd be pretty dumb of me to not get the subscription at least for the month. Now, you might say, well, why did you only get the 1 month? Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, because I don't have a lot of money right now. If I had enough to drop on a year, I'd probably get the year. I just don't have the money. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I don't know if I want to keep PlayStation Plus Premium long term. We've been talking about this recently. You know, when you look at all the subscription services, where's the value? And a lot of people in the last month have asked me, do I think that PlayStation Plus Premium has value to keep it ongoing? To which I say, well, it really depends on your perspective. All right? If you're looking for old school classic games like PlayStation 1 games, no. There's barely any on there. Really, there's very few on there. And I don't think the selection's good enough to be paying ongoing to have access to them. Okay? What about the streaming service? Well, if you have good internet and there's good games there on PS3 you're interested in playing, then I would say, yeah, I would argue the value is there. There's a ridiculous amount of PS3 games on there. And out of the ones I've tested, I'd say a significant amount of them work pretty well. Remember, I tested fighting games like Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Online and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix. I've tried classic games like Oblivion. And Oblivion admittedly didn't run that well, but people would tell me that's because Oblivion doesn't run well on PS3. It actually has nothing to do with the streaming service. Oblivion was always a choppy mess on PS3. I played MotorStorm Apocalypse, and that game ran silky smooth. Like, seriously, it was, like, really good. And I was shocked at how good it ran. Because, like, a racing game, you would think that would be choppy. No, it was, like, really good performance. Okay? So it's basically kind of like, it's hit or miss depending on the game. Because if the game was running good on PS3, chances are it's going to run really well. There was one exception to that rule, Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption did not run well on the streaming service. It was choppy. When I was turning or moving, the frame rate would dip dramatically. And I was like, damn, how are you going to play this? You know, a game like Red Dead Redemption that runs really well. At least when I played it on Xbox 360, it ran really well. I don't know. Maybe the PS3 version just natively runs like shit. I don't know. I didn't play it on PS3. But, you know, basically I played it and it didn't look good on the streaming service. So I was like, nah, that would be one I wouldn't want to stream. So it is kind of hit or miss, but for the most part, most of the games ran well, and I was shocked at how good a game like MotorStorm ran, okay? Now, if you did not have a PlayStation until like right now. Like if you missed out on the PS4 generation, or if you didn't have a PS5 till now, the value is huge because a ton of PS4 and a lot of PS5 games are on this service, including some of the biggest ones like Demon's Souls and stuff. So you pay for the service and you get all those games without having to buy them. Then the value's definitely there. You see, for someone like me who already bought a bunch of those games, it's hard to really justify the value in the long term because it's like, well, I'm not going to benefit from any of the PS4 or PS5 games. The classic games, there's not enough. Really, for me, where the service excels would either be streaming of the PS3 games, or if they continuously add new games for free every month, like Game Pass does over on the Xbox side. But as of now, the only game that we're aware of that's going to be on there for free that I'm interested in is Stray. So this month makes sense for me to get the subscription at premium level to play Stray, to play Final Fantasy VII. But in a month's time, in early August, will I renew it? I don't know. I'll think about it. I guess let's see what happens over the course of this month. Let's enjoy PlayStation Plus Premium for a month. Let's see how it goes. And maybe I'll want to renew it next month, and maybe I won't. Okay? I mean, ideally, I would just like to drop the one-time fee for a year, which is $120. Then it's only $10 a month. Now it's pretty good value. If you do it month by month, it's $18 a month. That's a lot more. It's almost double, okay? Then you have a hard time justifying it. For $10 a month, that's not that bad. So maybe if I ever end up getting enough money, I can just drop the $120 and lock it in for the whole year, okay? I guess we'll have to see. I mean, also, I'd probably like to do that with Game Pass, because I pay monthly for Game Pass too. And I have gotten a lot of value out of Game Pass, you know? At the very same time, now that I think about it, I'm like, well, wait a minute. What value am I getting out of Game Pass this month? And I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, As Dusk Falls. That's the game that I'll be playing this month under Game Pass. But outside of that, probably nothing, you know? But there are a significant amount of games coming up for Game Pass in the next few months that I probably will benefit from. It's kind of funny. You got to be careful because this is what you fall into. Oh, well, I just let that auto renew every month. It's like, yeah, but what are you getting out of it this month? Did you check? You know, I finished Oblivion. Excuse me. I finished Skyrim. So I didn't need ongoing access to Skyrim anymore. I finished it, you know. So that's done. So what else do I really need access to on Game Pass? Well, As Dusk Falls is coming out. Okay, so it's justified for this month, but what about next month? Every month you got to kind of look and say, does it justify my re-upping of this membership? If I paid for the yearly, which is a big discount to get the yearly, then you don't have to worry about it month to month. You already just have it, you see? But the thing is, it's a lot of investment. You know, $120. I don't have $120 to just drop on something right now. I just don't, you know. All right, anyway. There you go. That's what's going on. This week is an exciting week, and then the rest of this month is an exciting month. Now that you know the name of the channel, Rob Gavigan, that I'll be reacting to on Saturday, I hope you guys will give it a look. And I would say obviously don't watch all the content, you know, unless you're okay with being already spoiled. Because I think I watched like 2 videos on the channel, and I liked both videos. I don't even remember what they were because it was over a month ago when I watched them. But I really liked the channel, and that's why I reached out to the guy and got permission to react to his stuff. It's up to you, you know, if you want to watch or not and spoil yourself. But what I would say is if you watch some stuff and you have some suggestions, okay, like Phil, maybe you should watch this Twisted Tens video. It's a really good one. Or you should watch this murder documentary. You know, this is a really good episode. I like recommendations, okay? Cool. All right. So that's that. That covers that. Now, normally, in this segment of the podcast, I would do shout-outs, okay? We have one shout-out to do because there's only been one contribution. So let's do it. It's Snow Carl. He tipped me $1.50, and he says the following. Since you know companies would never offer financially disadvantageous subscriptions for themselves, do you think you're naive in thinking Game Pass and PS Plus is a good deal? I think over time you'll end up paying more than you would just buying the games. I would say it's all about being informed and making informed purchases, okay? So again, for example, this month, if I don't have PlayStation Plus, one of the higher tier subscriptions, I have to buy Stray, okay? I know for a fact Stray costs more than $18, you see? So, in this case, this month, it makes sense to have it. if I end up getting the yearly subscription, $10 a month, all right? So that's $120 a year. Will I benefit? Will I play more than $120 worth of content in 1 year's time that's going to be available on the service, right? These are the questions you really have to ask. Same thing with Game Pass. I can tell you right now, since I started with Game Pass last summer when I got my Xbox Series X, I have played way more than I've paid. Because the Game Pass subscription, I want to say, is $15 a month, $16. And if you just think of the sheer amount of games that I've played under Game Pass, including the campaign of Halo Infinite, what was the game? Some of the games last year, Last Stop, Hades. Okay, I'm trying to think of the summertime games that we played last year. There was like 3 or 4 games just during the summer, and then heading into the fall there was 1 or 2, and then I've been playing Skyrim the entire time, which was 1. And then over the last few months, there's 1 or 2 others that I played. And now this month we've got As Dusk Falls. If you do the math and you add it up, probably if I bought all those games outright, it would have been probably arguably around $200 to $300, while having the $15 a month subscription, right, has been significantly less than that. Okay? Now, long term, you're absolutely right. Long term, I need to keep looking at these things. If I have these subscriptions and I'm not using them, I should be canceling them. Absolutely. Or if I can, like I said, if I can save up enough in order to get the yearly subscriptions, which are even cheaper. Because right now, like I said, I think I'm paying $15, $16 a month for Game Pass. But I think if you get the yearly subscription, it's around $10, $11 a month, so it's way less. Same thing here with PlayStation Plus Premium, $18 a month. But if you get the year, it's only $10 a month. That's way less. So then it's a no-brainer, right? Then it's an absolute no-brainer to get those services for the year. You're absolutely going to get enough value in 1 year's time. Even if I'm PS Plus Premium, if I never get another free new release game, just solely off the fact that I know in the next year I'll likely be playing some of these older games. I'll likely be streaming some of the PS3 games because we have the ability to do it now. Like, I would love this year to go back and play MotorStorm Apocalypse. I would love to go back and play some of the Infamous games. You see? Because these are games that were not on my radar, but now they are because they're just readily available to play immediately. It's pretty nice to have that at your fingertips, especially as a content creator like me. You know, a lot of money, a lot of disposable income to just be tossing at games all the time. So this is a good way to have a library of stuff available at all times, you see? It's pretty nice. Okay, so Snowcrawl took another $1.50. Says, considering the huge increase in cost for non-American supporters, exchange rates are now in favor of the U.S. dollar. Do you consider going back to allowing $1 minimum tips? No, and stop making bad, silly suggestions. Yes, at a time when I literally have admitted to you guys that I have been for the last couple of months living paycheck to paycheck, let's make it so that I make less on my streams. That sounds like a great idea, Snowcar. Wow, what a genius. Oh, my God. How about this? I run the streams in the business. You watch. You choose if you want to support, and thanks if you do. Stop questioning the way I do my business. All right? You don't run it. I do. And you're being ridiculous now. Come on. Jeez. Okay. Yes, Snowcar was banned. He was. A long time ago. Anyway. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for shoutouts. I take that back. Thanos just hit me $1.50. Says, your thoughts on Final Fantasy X? When I played it many years ago in the Final Fantasy X HD collection for PlayStation 3, I thought that it was pretty good. Although admittedly the plot is kind of ridiculous and all over the place and nonsensical. I'll be honest. Like, by the time the game ended, I was like, huh? Like, that's really the plot? But I think that the gameplay is quite good, and I like the amount of content in the game. I enjoyed the combat system once I got used to it, and the character system, you know, how the characters play a little differently. I liked it. In general, I enjoyed Final Fantasy X. I did. I thought it was a good playthrough. I enjoyed the game in general. I just thought that the plot could have been a lot better. But outside of that, I know a lot of people consider Final Fantasy X a classic. That was the first Final Fantasy game on PS2. Much like how Final Fantasy VII that we're playing today was the first PS1 Final Fantasy. Well, Final Fantasy X was the game that took it to the next console, so a lot of people hold that one in really high nostalgic regard, right? Okay, thank you, Thanos. All right, so that's all the shout-outs we've got. That's it. So I will now open the stream to some Q&A. If you would like to talk and get a little bit of question and answer, please tag me in the stream chat. We'll end the pre-stream in this manner. Or, excuse me, we'll end the podcast in this manner. I got to remember, this is not the pre-stream, this is the podcast. Damascus Onion says, what do you think about YouTube considering demonetization changes to React content? I don't know what you're talking about. Never heard anyone say anything like that. Sounds like drama to me. Personally, it depends, in my opinion. Like, I think there's React content that absolutely positively is valid. And then I think that there's React content that is complete fluff and shit. So, but first I've heard of it. Sounds like drama to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. How was Jasper with the fireworks last night? There were fireworks at 3 a.m. again. And then there were fireworks at fucking 4 a.m. again. But I think what it is now they've been going off for like 2-3 days in a row. So he's more used to it. So like we all woke up, we're like, oh shit, and then we kind of went right back to sleep. So luckily, it wasn't that big of a deal. Still annoying as fuck to be woken up at 3 and 4 in the morning as assholes outside, but what can you do? Assholes will be fucking assholes. Happy Tuesday, Guts. How you doing? How do you practice parry timing in third strike, which seems tight? It's literally just practice. Like, you know, back in the day, playing against as many people as I possibly could in arcades and in tournaments, and trying to parry things as much as I could. You know, and it's repetition. It just really is. It's playing enough that you recognize visually and audibly. Audibly, not audibly, audibly. So what you see and what you hear triggers, you know, oh, I know I got to parry this timing. So for example, over the years of me playing Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, when I'm fighting either Dudley or Alex, I know that at any time during a match, people tend to use these moves that are full screen EX moves. With Dudley, it's the one where he dashes forward, does the EX punches. With Alex, it's the one where he dashes forward, does the EX elbow. And I know, with Alex, it's 2 hits. Elbow, elbow. I know the timing. You go, blump, blump, and then you can counter hit him. With Dudley, it's a lot more complicated. He dashes, he's like, doom, 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 doom. I just memorized that in my head, all those hits. And then once you've done it through muscle memory, as soon as you see or hear those attacks coming out, you can start to parry them on reaction. But it takes a lot of practice. It really does. And then there's a lot of guessing involved too, because sometimes you got to try to bait parries in Third Strike. So there's just a ton to it. It's not easily explainable, but it's basically practice, practice, practice. Play as much as you can in a game like that. No, J-Dog, I have not considered going back to buying physical copies of games to take advantage of trading credit. First of all, trading credit is a joke. In the modern day, trading credit is abysmally small. Back in the day, when I used to do that, there was a good reason to do it. I would go to, let's say, for example, GameStop. And I would go on a release day, Tuesday morning. And I would buy 3 games that week. Within that week, I would play the living shit out of those games offline. I wasn't streaming. So I'd play them offline, beat them within a week, and trade them back in the next week. When I used to do that, there used to be these stacking bonuses. Oh, trade in more than 1 game at a time, get a bonus. Trade in a new release at a time, get a bonus. Oh, special promotion this week, get a bonus. And when you did that, sometimes you could get upwards of 50% or more trading credit towards trading in games. So it was huge. It was worth it. Today, you go to trade in a game you just spent $60-$70 on, you'll get like $15. No one gives good value back for trading games. Now, there's the other factor to this as well, all right? When you're getting digital games, all right, you could get a game at release, pre-order it, buy it ahead of time, preload it, and it is good to go the moment you want to play it on release day. As opposed to, I need a physical copy, so now I order it and I gotta wait for it to get delivered on release day, and who knows when it's gonna show up, because delivery services don't just show up at the same time. They don't. They show up whenever. Might get it in the morning, might get it at 8 at night. You don't know. In addition to that, Maybe instead of that, you decide to go to the store. Now you got to drive. Well, guess what? Not everyone has freedom to just drive around whenever they want. My wife has a job. She frequently is taking the car. So I don't know if I'm going to have availability of the car on any given release day. You don't know if the game will be available the night before or the day of. Most places out here do not do midnight releases anymore. They did away with them during COVID. So midnight release is a thing of the past. You just show up the morning of the game release to get your game. So now imagine on release day having to drive across town. My closest GameStop to me, all right, is about 30 minutes away. So now I have to drive 30 minutes, pick up the game, drive back. So that's an hour of driving before I can even turn on my stream and play a new release for you guys. By the way, do you even need me to start talking about gas prices right now? So even though you may think, oh, so you buy the game for 60, you can get like 15 back. Yeah, but now my streams are constantly late. I'm at the mercy of traffic and having availability of a car, and I have to pay for gas to drive to and from the game store. It's not worth it. It's not. You know, there may be some situations where it is, but there's just no way. You know what I'm saying? There's just no way to really make it viable anymore. There were, in the past there was, but not anymore. Okay? By the way, so before we get ahead of ourselves, I forgot to talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, as of today, we had our final members drop for the month. And what I mean by that is all those gifted memberships that came in early June have now happened and expired. As you can see, we went from like 500 something down to 483 members, okay? This is good, actually, because now we're not going to see any more significant dips. Basically, what we've got is what we've got, and it's going to be more organic now to get natural growth of members for this month, okay? So what is the goal for July? 540 members. Yes, I fully believe with the content I'm putting out this month, we can hit that, especially with people gifting memberships, which is very much possible, okay? What is the reward if we hit 540 members this month? If we hit 540 members this month, I'm coming out of the closet. After I go in there and I look around to see what's in there, and I bring stuff out to present to you. All right? We're going to do a special marathon where I'm going to go into my closet and search through all the stuff that's in there. So, for a little bit of background here, okay? I used to live in Connecticut. I was a content creator in Connecticut from the years of 2008 through 2014, okay? One point, I was living with my parents. Then I got my own place. I think it was 2009. I can't even remember. And I lived in this condo from around 2009 to around 2014, to which I moved here. So about 4 or 5 years of my life, I moved across the country, okay? When I moved, I gave away a ton of my shit. And I had a lot of stuff. I had classic games. I had collectibles and statues. I had equipment. I just gave away as much as I could before I moved. But there was a lot of stuff that I didn't give away. And I packed it up. I moved it across the country with me. Then when I moved here, that first year of 2014, I spent a ton of money building my business up in this office, new equipment and everything, all right? Basically what happened was in the jumble of like a 2-year span, I got a lot of shit that accumulated that I didn't want to really deal with and just got tossed into this closet. Now, over the years that I've lived here, 8 years, all right, things have accumulated in this closet. For example, holiday decorations, different various console equipment, headphones, cables, capture devices, and or miscellaneous capture software. I have bins, tons of bins in this closet that have literally been closed since I moved 8 years ago, and I've never opened. And I know for a fact there's probably stuff in there that we could take out and use, whether it's stuff we can use as decorations on the stream, maybe there's games to play, maybe there's equipment. I don't even know. I won't know until I go in there. You know, there's tons of shit in this closet to go through. Just looking right now, I see a guidebook for Seattle. I see a strategy guide. I see Halloween and Christmas decorations. I see a special light. I see a bin down there that looks like it has my portable hard drives that I used to have, external hard drives, to store my original videos from YouTube over 10 years ago. Sitting right there in a bin. I could see one through the bin. Okay? In reality, I don't actually know what's in there. I have no, there may be stuff in there of value that I can use on stream. There may be stuff that I just want to throw out. So likely what we will do during this event is I will have a garbage bag and just anything that's junk, toss it in the bag, get rid of it. But there's other shit in there. Whoa! Holy, what the fuck? Ladies and gentlemen, Emil H just dropped a 50-member bomb on the chat. Fucking 50. That is by far the most we've ever seen. And a ton of people are accepting right now. That is tremendous. Emil, first of all, good to see you. Welcome back to the stream. I don't think you've been around for a bit. Thank you for the support. This is crazy. I don't even know if I can read out all these names. Everyone is accepting them. Dude, everyone is getting a gifted membership right now. Holy shit. God damn. Look at all these people getting it. Wow. Did it end yet? Because I'm gonna try to shout out as many as I can. And then of course we're gonna check and see how many members we're at. Alright. Seriously? There's people are saying they didn't get one. There's 50 gifted, you didn't get one? Alright. First of all, let's do the shout out. Because this is a crazy shout out. Alright. 50 memberships. Ready? Congratulations to the following people. Oh my god. Ryan Wilson, Ultrasonic Assquake, Alrond, Orison, Sven, Alt, Anderson, Golden Colts Backup, Brian Larson, Dead Iron, Super Mario Sunshine Fan, Max13, Randy Disher, Charlie, Zamfir Mahai, Ethan Redfield, Eppin Pippi, Ryan, Graves Fiend 696, D-Man Games, Easy Peasy 91, Noah J, Question, Ripper, Chief Big Canoe, John Storch, T. Clark Gaming Underground, Charles Gabriel Person Dupree, or Perrin Dupree, Johnny Boy, Derpy LaDerp, Kathy Schmertz, Spanky RTG EG18, Nishi Tiki Toki Toki Toki, Big Ocho, Emer Smith, Hipster in Seattle, Ruffles, Random Michael, Paul Cross, Harold Lee, A Dead Warrior Soul, Betty Swallix, Nathan A. No, excuse me, Nicholas A. Eddie Cabrera, Jaboris, Jade Van Zyl, a bunch of kanji I can't read, Always Sleepy, We Too Low, Ron Doyle, Ban All Bernsteins, and Shambles the Cat. That's what it says. Now, that doesn't sound like 50 to me. I don't know if everyone was able to accept one or not. What I can do now is check. Let me check and see what we're at for memberships. Because that definitely would have boosted us significantly. And then we could update the total here. Thank you, Ebil. Appreciate that very, very much, man. $533. Wow. We went from 483 to 533 just like that. Boom. Well, goddamn. We only need 7 members for me to come out of the closet. Damn. That was a jump. Well, thank you, email. That will help out a lot, and I really appreciate that. Okay. Stuart says, wow, someone really wants to see Phil clean his closet. Gaspavelli re-upped his membership. For 12 months, he's lucky number 7. Number 7? No, it's 12. Gaspavelli claims you've been here for a year. That's what it says. Not 7. Maybe it's a 7-month streak, but 12 months in total, it says. Yes, you have to opt in to receive a gifted membership. There should be a pop-up to do that. Duh. Okay. Jasper Kitty. Would you like a membership, Jasper Kitty? Oh, he says he doesn't like streams. He doesn't watch them. Okay. So anyway. Obviously, awesome. Thank you, email. We are so close now to cleaning out the closet. All right, which will be the next marathon event. When would that be? Likely either late July or early August, but we'll see. You know, July 9th, this Saturday, is the first one. We'll see how things go this month. Maybe we'd want to do it by the end of the month. We could. Okay? Very nice. All right. So there you go. Oops. Clicked the wrong thing. There we go. Okay. Now, thank you all for the support. Appreciate that. Reminder, tomorrow's my day off. If you are thinking of supporting the stream today, I would say the best way to support the stream would be by tipping me. Tips I can use immediately for things. I wasn't expecting to have to buy my PlayStation Plus Premium membership this morning. I thought it was going to last a few more days. It didn't. So any tips today would be greatly appreciated to help me for my day off tomorrow and to pay some big bills coming up next week. Thanks in advance to anyone who contributes in any way. Everything's appreciated, you know? And I want to say thank you, Email. That was amazing. Holy crap, we've almost hit the goal for the month already, and I really appreciate that. So now I would say if anyone else has the option to choose, I'd like to support the stream today. We just got a ridiculous amount of members. How should I help? I would say tips would be the way to do it for the rest of the stream if you could, okay? It would be great to hit some of these tip goals for today. All right, guys, I think we'll end the Level 1 podcast here. I actually have to... Email just gifted 10 more memberships. Email just gifted 10 more memberships. Congratulations to Chef D, Voland, Kyler, Frog, Mango, Kevin Flash 2, Guts, Casey Stage, 1979 Samsung, and someone's name who just scrolled off the screen. It was Jonathan O'Brien. So, stands to reason that we've now hit the monthly members goal. Let's take a look. Holy crap. Was I expected to do it all in one morning? No, absolutely not. I was not. Yeah, we've done it. 543. We hit it. Now, I guess the question now is, do I set up a tier 2 goal? And if I do, what the hell do I set up? Right? We're at 543 right now. I guess the question is, what would you guys like to see? By the way, Burnt Zapato is our Burnt Zapato did do a super chat. He says, if you find your PS Vita in your closet, can I buy it off of you? I have no idea what's in there, so let's see what's in there first, then we'll discuss stuff. I have no idea what the hell's in that closet. Seriously. Okay. Anyway, what's up, Jade? Good to see you. So we hit our tier 1 goal. What now? I guess what we need to do, right? Shouldn't we brainstorm? We should brainstorm what you guys want to see for a tier 2 members goal. What kind of rewards would you guys like to see? We already got the marathon locked in. The closet cleaning event is going to happen. So now I guess the question is, what would be tier 2? We got to think about it. Okay? All right. Now, I need to use the restroom. So let's end the Level 1 podcast. Thank you guys for a great podcast. Let's take a quick break for me to use the restroom. When we come back, Final Fantasy VII continues. Remember, if we keep up attendance, engagement, support for this playthrough, I will keep it as a mainstay as the daytime streams. Let's see what happens today. I hope it stays popular because I really enjoyed it last time. And let's see where it goes. All right, guys, thank you. Great podcast. Until next time. Awesome.